This is not financial advice, not legal advice, for entertainment, educational purposes only, and anything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision based on anything I say in these videos. Double check you're still subscribed to the channel. Double check your notifications are on. And if you hit that like button, double check it's working properly. Because these bad actors are terrified of more people becoming aware of the fraud and corruption in the United States stock market. Listen, I have a lot of people telling me that Ripple is selling XRP directly to institutions in violation of the court's order. Okay? And they told me they were doing it in such a way where it was legal. And I told them that I would do a little research and I would come back and let you guys know what I found. Okay? And I'm going to tell you guys something, and I'm not telling you to buy, hold, or sell XRP. Okay? You have to do your own DD and come to your own conclusion whether or not XRP is good for your portfolio. I will tell you this. I have found absolutely no evidence whatsoever of Ripple violating the court's order and selling XRP directly to institutions. I could not find it. Okay? I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm telling you that I could not find it. And here's another thing. I want you to put your logical hat on. Put your logical hat on and listen to what I'm about to say. If Ripple found a way to sell directly to institutions that didn't violate the court's order, why would they be pushing for the courts to take away the injunction stopping them from selling to institutions? Do you understand that logic? If they could legally sell to institutions without violating the court's order, why would they be working with the SEC to get Judge Torres to stop that injunction, barring them from selling to institutions? They would not do that. They would not be concerned with that. That would be a non-factor if they could find a way to sell directly to institutions without violating the court's order. So if Ripple and the SEC is trying to get the judge to lift that restriction, it is because they cannot sell directly to institutions anymore because it would violate the court's order. Does that make sense? Is that making sense to anybody who thinks that somehow Ripple has found a way to sell directly to institutions without violating the court's order? If they did that, they would not be so adamant to get the judge to raise the restriction on selling to institutions directly. I, for one, am very, very glad that they can't sell to institutions directly. Institutions should buy XRP the same way we buy XRP. Okay? And in order for them to sell XRP to institutions, you know what they would have to do? They would have to register XRP as a security, which the courts have already held is not a security. And then they would have to file a Form D with the SEC for accredited investors and non-accredited investors. That's a 506C, 506D. But that all comes back to the fact that they would have to acknowledge that XRP was a security, which the courts has held that it is not. So XRP cannot be sold directly to institutions by Ripple unless they violate the court's order, and I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think so. Okay? And if they are doing it, I couldn't find any proof of it. But here's the thing. Like I said before, Ripple needs to, they already put aside the $125 million. I mean, they're making money hand over fist. They don't need to sell the institutions to make money. They don't need to sell the institutions for XRP to reach its real value. The only purpose of selling to institutions is to cut the legs out from under retail investors and everybody else who can't buy directly from Ripple. Bottom line is this. I have found no information whatsoever that Ripple is selling directly to institutions, and if they did, it would violate the court order, and I don't think they want to do that. Okay? Ripple needs to pay the fine, stop selling to institutions, or well, not stop selling, but and sell directly to the open market and let institutions buy where we buy. Okay? There does not need to be any dog pool for XRP where institutions can buy where nobody's privy to it. Anyway, please leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Do you guys still think that Ripple would violate the court order and sell XRP directly to institutions? Anyway, have a great day. God bless. I appreciate y'all on this journey with me.